Jimmy Breslin, the New York City newspaper columnist and best-selling author who leveled the powerful and elevated the powerless for more than 50 years with brick-hard words and a jagged-glass wit, died on Sunday. He was 88, and until very recently, was still pushing somebody's buttons with two-finger jabs at his keyboard. His death was confirmed by his wife, Ronnie Eldridge, a prominent Manhattan Democrat. Mr. Breslin had been recovering from pneumonia. With prose that was savagely funny, deceptively simple and poorly imitated, Mr. Breslin created his own distinct rhythm in the hurly-burly music of newspapers. Here, for example, is how he described Clifton Pollard, the man who dug President John F. Kennedy's grave, in a celebrated Herald Tribune column from 1963 that sent legions of journalists to find their gravedigger. Pollard is 42. He is a slim man with a mustache who was born in Pittsburgh and served as a private in the 352nd Engineers Battalion in Burma in World War II. He is an equipment operator, grade 10, which means he gets $3.01 an hour. One of the last to serve. John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who was the 35th president of this country, was a working man who earns $3.01 an hour and said it was an honor to dig the grave. And here is how he described what motivated Breslin the writer: "Rage is the only quality which has kept me, or anybody I have ever studied, writing columns for newspapers. Poetic and profane, soft-hearted and unforgiving, Mr. Breslin inspired every emotion but indifference. Letters from outraged readers gladdened his heart. He often went after his own, from Irish Americans with shopping center faces who had forgotten their hardscrabble roots to the Roman Catholic Church, whose sex scandals prompted him to write an angry book called The Church That Forgot Christ, published in 2004. It ends with his cheeky vow to start a new church that would demand more low-income housing and better posture. Love or loathe him, none could deny Mr. Breslin's enduring impact on the craft of narrative nonfiction. He often explained that he merely applied a sports writer's visual sensibility to news columns. Avoid the media scrum gathered around the winner, he would advise, and go directly to the loser's locker. This is how you find your gravedigger. So you go to a big thing like this presidential assassination, he said in an extended interview with the New York Times in 2006. Well, you're looking for the dressing room, that's all. And I did. I went there automatic. Early on, Mr. Breslin developed the persona of the hard-drinking, dark-humored everyman from Queens, so consumed by life's injustices and his 6 children that he barely had time to comb his wild black mane. While this persona shared a beer with the truth, Mr. Breslin also admired Dostoevsky, swam every day, rarely drank in the last 30 years, wrote a shelf full of books, and adhered to a demanding work ethic that required his presence in the moment, from a civil rights march in Alabama to a perp walk in Brooklyn, no matter that he never learned to drive. The real Jimmy Breslin was so elusive that even Mr. Breslin could not find him. There have been many Jimmy Breslins because of all the people I identified with so much, turning me into them, or them into me, that I can't explain one Jimmy Breslin, he once wrote.